Welcome back to another edition of the AfterBuzz. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brandon Coates, here for your Wednesday morning. Again, we are Sans producer Dave here. He is off again. I think he's going to hopefully be back next Wednesday, though, which would be great. But anyway, so welcome back to another edition of the AfterBuzz. We've got some topics we're going to get to today. Again, I really don't want to continue to do this, but kind of something that's been engulfing my life at this point is television, because it's something I've been able to do, especially with being sick, a week ago and everything else like that. So I got a lot of TV stuff to get to today because, especially last week, we kind of had the impromptu guest of Jim Brewer, which was great, by the way. If you haven't checked out that video, go back in this channel and go check out the interview that we did with Jim Brewer. And also, while you're here, make sure that you're clicking the like button, you're clicking the subscribe button, and you're clicking the bell so you get the notifications when we go live and when we upload videos like Buzz's Z-Bay and stuff like that. You'll get a little notification that says, hey, this stuff is up. You get to see that Buzz makes the claim he did not buy jeggings when he totally bought a pair of jeggings. But anyway, let's go ahead and just kind of jump into things here. First thing I want to talk about, that it's not in the title or anything. It was the Michael Irvin thing, because yesterday was Michael Irvin's birthday. And that dude is, I'm trying not to be so negative about people, but that guy's a piece of human garbage. Like that, for some reason, people find it completely okay. All of his actions and everything that he has done in his life is acceptable because, he's a church-going man, and he cried during his Hall of Fame speech. No, the guy is a piece of trash. Like, I just put this up at buzzadamshow.com yesterday, and I think I did it the previous year too on his birthday, because I think it's something that needs a little bit more press. He fucking stabbed a guy with scissors because he felt he should have been the one getting his hair cut, not this other guy. Quick rundown of the story. Basically, they had a barber for the Dallas Cowboys. This was 1998. One of the offensive linemen for the Dallas Cowboys was getting his hair cut. His name was, I need to look it up here because I always forget this guy's name. His name was McIver, something McIver. Everett McIver was the guy's name. He'd been in the league for about 5 years. He was on the Cowboys earlier. This was his second stint with the Cowboys. He's in the barber's chair. Michael Irvin believes, well, I'm the playmaker. I should get priority over you. So he yells out seniority 4 times, and then he says, "Punk, get the fuck out of my chair," to this dude. And at this point, so Everett McIver was an offensive lineman. Another offensive lineman is in his ear being like, I have it here in the actual article, "Oh, you're no fucking rookie. He can't tell you what to do." So McIver says, "Damn right," pushes him, shoving match ensues. That's all well and good. It's, it's football players, it's guys, shoving matches. That kind of crap's going to happen. But not with Michael Irvin in the room, because he's going to grab a pair of scissors and fucking stab the guy in the neck, missing his carotid artery just by a couple of inches. So I'm amazed that this story has not gotten, more press, or more people don't know about it. He fucking stabbed the guy, on top of all the other hot garbage that this guy's done in his life, because this dude is a piece of human garbage. Like, I cannot stand Michael Irvin. And this dates all the way back to when I lived in Florida. And there were people down there that would have stories of him where he, like he's just a gross human being. Like, he would be at a party and he would force himself on women. He would grope women. And so, like, when all the sexual assault claims came out, he's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything." It's like, well, no, because I've heard stories before this about you just being a shitty dude. But there you go. So congratulations, Dallas Cowboys fans. Michael Irvin, that's your guy. Of course, I'm a Patriot fan, so I don't have a whole lot of room to talk. We had Aaron Hernandez, who literally killed people. But yeah, that's a story that I honestly think that more people need to know about Michael Irvin. Like, he fucking stabbed a guy with scissors. And the interesting thing is, I listened to a lot of Dan Le Batard, and when they were doing the whole happy birthday thing to him, it's funny hearing Le Batard's spin on it, because for him it's always, well, he's just eccentric, and he was the playmaker, and he needed to create this persona, being one of like 18 children, and he needed to stand out. No, he's a garbage human being. I don't care who you are. His actions equals garbage human being. I don't care how you were brought up or anything like that. Like, he's just a piece of human trash in my book. But there you go. So congrats, Michael Irvin. I don't like you. But then again, I really don't think you give a fuck about me. So who cares? But anyway, that's just a story that I think more people need to, know about that. And of course, he's a football player. And it's not like football players are known for being the most upstanding citizens. Now, there are guys out there. Perfect example, Larry Fitzgerald. For everything that we know, Larry Fitzgerald is the most upstanding citizen, not just for a football player, but for a human being. Like, that guy's apparently just amazing. I would really like to meet Larry Fitzgerald because I think he would be a really cool guy to sit down and talk to, because I have a feeling being around him, he's one of those people who just being in his presence makes you feel good because he's just that genuinely good of a human being. But anyway, so let's jump into the other topics that we have here. I was able to catch up on a lot of TV in the past couple of weeks. I have fallen back behind on Gotham because I'm watching some other things. But while I was sick, which by the way, man, I don't think I even really got to get into this last week because Jim Brewer was here. But man, something hit me just horrifically bad 2 weekends ago. Friday night, we had the father-daughter dance at my kid's school. It was an absolute blast. Had a lot of fun with her. I was still rocking the sling at that time, in public, just because, it would get to the point where I would wear it. So I wasn't doing something stupid. Like, it would remind me, don't stick your arm out this way, because that's the one thing the doctor told me, don't do. If you do that, you're going to tear all the work that he had done. And then also as a kind of a warning to other people to not bump into me, which clearly is not the case at my kid's school, because as I'm walking to go pick her up from school, even parents, kids, I kind of understand. Kids, I'm bouncing off the walls. I don't know what the hell's going on. But even parents, they will lock eyes with you and they still bump into my shoulder because they don't want to take one step over. It boggles my mind. But anyway, so we did that Friday, got home, had a perfectly fine evening, and then something like around 2 o'clock in the morning, like my stomach is just twisting and turning, and I'm flip-flopping around. And what makes it worse is I still sleep with that sling on, because coincidentally enough, about the week before, I had a nightmare about bats. And I woke up, when you have a nightmare, but you're physically doing the action in real life. And I guess I had a nightmare about bats where they're around my head, and I'm flailing my arms around when I woke up, and I sat up. And it was a good thing I was wearing the sling, because if I didn't, my arm would have come flying up, and I would have torn up my shoulder and completely undone all the work that he did. So needless to say, I still sleep with the sling on. But it makes it worse when you're not feeling good, because the only position is here. But at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I need to try to lay on my stomach, or not lay on my stomach, lay on my side. So I'm able to lay on my right side, and nothing's working. And it's just, I'm getting no sleep. My wife still wasn't feeling good because she had been sick, but this wasn't the sickness that she had. It was something else she was dealing with. So I'm sitting there, I'm tossing and turning. And, around 10 o'clock the next morning, I'm like, you know what? I gotta go make myself throw up. So I go into the bathroom and I make myself throw up. And my wife, honest to God, thought that I was joking. Like, she thought I was yelling for the sake of yelling. Like, I have not thrown up that loud in my entire life. It was like I was screaming at the toilet, like, ah, like it was like a fucking metal song, just nonstop. But then after that, I felt amazing. But within an hour, I was right back to feeling like crap again. So I'm bedridden all day. The wife and kid are going to do their stuff. I can't get comfortable. I'm clammy. I'm sweaty. I've got the shivers. I'm trying to watch TV. So, it truly took me forever to get through Umbrella Academy, because I would only be able to watch 10 to 15 minutes until I would get uncomfortable and I'd have to start tossing and turning or try to fall asleep or something. And eventually that Saturday night, when I'd gone upstairs to try to go to bed, I had to go to the ER. So we ended up going to the ER. It wasn't the flu. It was just flu-like symptoms from whatever it was. And they were like, here's prescriptions for, nausea, here's prescription for pain. And we already had all that stuff at the house. So it's just one of those things that really sucks, because you just have to deal with it. But I was able to catch up on some TV. So I watched Umbrella Academy. Started off really good. I was really impressed with it's really easy to look at it and be like, hey, they've completely copied X-Men. it's not really the case. I mean, yeah, that premise of, students in a school and everything else, I kind of get that. But I don't know, like the whole season was kind of blah. I enjoyed some of it, but I didn't catch myself when an episode was ending thinking, "Oh my God, I gotta watch the next one." Like it didn't, like it felt like effort. It felt like work to try to get through the first season of Umbrella Academy. I'll try to watch season 2. I probably will, depending on time constraints. But for me, it's just one of those shows that it was just kind of there. Like it really didn't grab me the way that I had hoped. One show that did though was Mindhunter. That show was the shit. Which I had started that ages ago. I started that at least a year ago. Got through about the first episode and it didn't quite grab me. But that's one thing that people kept telling me was you get through the first episode, it's when they go and they start interviewing the serial killers. Is when this thing gets really, really cool. And that's when it was. And I watched this right after I watched the Ted Bundy documentary that's on Netflix. Again, that is a must watch. That was amazing as well. Because it's interesting to watch the FBI and how you have this guy that's wanted in the Northwest and they have him down in Florida, but they don't know who he is. And it's like, how could information not travel? Like, how could they not do that? It's strange to think that even though that this was about 40 years ago, just how ancient it is in regards to technology and how slow information would be passed. But I highly recommend the Ted Bundy documentary, and I highly recommend Mindhunter because Mindhunter I thought was brilliantly done. The cool thing is that it's got the one guy. He plays. Crap! Now I'm gonna blank on his name, and I'm gonna have to look it up here while I'm on with you guys. There's one actor that was in both shows, in the Umbrella Academy, and he was also in Mindhunter. And Cameron Britton is the gentleman's name. He plays Hazel. He's the hitman with Cha-Cha, who's played by Mary J. Blige in Umbrella Academy. And Cameron Britton also played Ed Kemper, who was a serial killer in Mindhunter. And he was kind of the first one that they were interviewing in Mindhunter to try to, categorize these issues and categorize these things in regards to, serial killers. And that's how they came up with the term serial killer. But I thought that was pretty cool watching that because I really like him as an actor. I thought he did an amazing job in Umbrella Academy, and he also did an amazing job in Mindhunter as well. But anyway, so if you guys have anything that you guys want talked about today, I don't want to spend too much time on television because, quite frankly, it's been done to death, and I don't want to make the AfterBuzz some sort of like a TV review show. That's not what it is. It's about what I got going on, and quite frankly, over the past few weeks, it's been television that I got going on. So if there's anything that you guys want brought up, be sure to bring it up in the chat here. Fire away the questions, fire away comments or whatever you want, and I'll do a quick version of the Metallica story here on the AfterBuzz, the one that I told last week on Friday. But I don't want to go too in. Here's the funny thing: I say right now I don't want to go too in depth, but I'll probably still go pretty in depth here on the AfterBuzz because I'm also this is a story that we're going to be covering in Rockstar 101 in an upcoming episode with Shim, because I texted him. Just to let him know, like, dude, this is a story that we're going to be telling on Rockstar 101 because this was awesome. Because he'd asked before, he's like, let me know how the show is because I want to know if Metallica still got it. By the way, Metallica still fucking got it. Like, awesome. And I'm wondering how many people see me doing this as the AOK think it's some sort of white power symbol because they saw it online. It's not, you shitheads. Joe's asking if I already downloaded my Metallica concert. I haven't actually downloaded it to the computer. I registered for it. I was trying to do it on my phone, but you have to do it from a computer. So I got it here on the old laptop. I'll probably do that once I'm done with the AfterBuzz today. But basically, what happened was for Metallica was I had no tickets last year when tickets went on sale. The wife and I, at the time fiancés, we were planning our wedding. And tickets are really expensive. And I brought it up to her. But earlier that week, there was a show that she wanted to go see that I was like, well, we're planning a wedding. We can't really afford these tickets. And it wouldn't be fair of me to be like, well, I told you we can't do your thing, but we're going to go see Metallica. Like, that's not fair to her. So We both agreed, we're not going to be able to buy tickets. It's unfortunate. It stinks, but we're not going to be able to afford this right now. So basically, a year passes or however long since tickets went on sale, and this whole time I'm anticipating not going whatsoever. Except we did have a raffle here at the station for all of the stations and for everybody in the building, and you put your name in, you got a ticket, and then they would draw a name for a couple of tickets to Metallica. So I kind of held out hope for that, but I wasn't banking on it because I knew that pretty much everybody was putting their name in that thing. But the day before the show, I go pick up Jim Brewer. He was late. He got up late. He was very apologetic. And I told him he was staying right down the street. So I told him, like, man, I'll come pick you up, and I'll be there in just a few minutes. So I swing on over there, pick him up, bring him back to the station, and he asked me, "Are you going to the show?" And I said, "No, I wasn't able to get tickets." And I think I even mentioned that we were planning our wedding last year, and just it wasn't in the budget. And his response was, he goes, I could take care of that for you. And I was like, okay, like, how serious is he being? Like, it's really easy for somebody to say that, but how far is he willing to go? Not really sure. So we get back to the station, do all the interview stuff, including the afterbuzz. And as I'm driving him back, I'm like, I need to bring this back up to him to kind of feel out how serious he is. And he tells me, text me tomorrow morning. And then when I get to the box office, I will try to get your name on a couple of tickets. He goes, but you're going to want 3, because prior to that, I had mentioned how I'd introduced my kid to Metallica, and she had become a really big Metallica fan. And so he's like, but you're going to want 3, one for you, one for your wife, one for your kid. And I said, yeah, I mean, if you could, I don't want to be greedy. I mean, 2 is fine, but even just trying at this point is perfectly fine with me. I don't want you to have to go, super above and beyond for me. So he's like, well, one thing I could probably do is I might be able to get, a couple of tickets and a bracelet, or a couple of tickets and a lanyard. Or he goes, even at this point, he goes, I could just walk you guys in. That wouldn't be a big deal either. So next day rolls around, and I'm racking my brain trying to figure out, when should I text Jim Brewer? I'm already going more in depth in this story than I wanted to on the AfterBuzz, by the way. I'm going to give you the whole spiel, and you'll be able to hear it again on the next episode, a couple episodes of Rockstar 101, because we have one episode that's supposed to be coming out today, but it's not the one with the story in it. Anyway, so all morning long of Metallica Day, I'm trying to figure out when do I think would be best to text him, because I know that 8 o'clock he was the previous day he was still sleeping in. He wasn't doing radio on Thursday on Metallica Day. If I text him too early, is that text message going to get buried underneath a whole bunch of other texts? Like, I'm just like, this is like, my brain is swimming at this point. So I land on about 8 o'clock is when I shoot him the text. Don't hear anything from him. Show ends. We prep for the next day. I head out. As I'm driving home, I get a phone call from our boss, Brad. I won the raffle. I got a couple of tickets. Hell yeah. So I turn around and come back immediately to get the tickets. So I'm on the way back. I pick up the tickets, and I tell myself, I don't want to be greedy. I'm going to text Jim to let him know that I won a couple of tickets, and that, I don't want him to have to go out of his way for extra tickets when he doesn't need to. So I shoot him the text, and that one he responds to right away. He's like, cool, man. Hope you enjoy the show. But as I read his text, in the back of my brain, I'm like, God, it would be so great if I could get my kid in, like to get a third ticket. So I just randomly sent him a text that said, unless you're able to get a third ticket and we can get my kid in, leave it at that. This is about noon. 5+ hours go by. Haven't heard anything from Jim. We're at, an elementary school. My kid's got a full Quotico performance. The wife is backstage with the kid getting ready. I'm out in the, the audience, kind of playing, Yahtzee on my phone. And all of a sudden, bing, a little text message pops up from Jim Brewer that says, text me when you get here. I will get you all in. And I look at the clock on the wall, and I'm like, it's 5:45. I know that he needs to start doing stuff at 7. Her show hasn't even started yet. It's not even starting until 6 o'clock. And at first, I'm like, shit. There's no way we're going to make it. Like, this sucks. So I texted him first. I'm like, how late can I make it? Blah, 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 blah. The wife comes and sits down. I show her the text, and I'm like, is there any way do you think we can get there by 7 o'clock? Like, how quickly can we get out of here, go change, and get to the Don Haskins Center? And I'm like, how long will it take you to get ready? She's like, 5 minutes maybe. And I'm like, are you sure? Because, 5 minutes can sometimes mean 15. I'm like, you have to cut this thing down so we can be out the damn door. She's like, absolutely. And, so we're sitting there, and the kid does a performance. It's a few songs. We get out of there. We get home, get changed, and I text him. I'm like, "Is 7 o'clock okay?" He's like, "Absolutely. Just don't make it any later because that's when we start prepping for things." So we get to the venue, and my wife is driving. I'm, passenger seat, kids in the back seat, because what I told her is like, "You have your ticket. I got my ticket. But we need to get the kid in. So what I'm going to do is we'll jump out. Like, you drop us off where the buses are. We'll jump out of the car. You go park, and then we'll just meet you inside the venue." So I hop out. I give Jim a call. We get out there. We meet up with him, and he just, tells the security guard. Security guard opens it up. He lets us in, and boom, we're backstage. We're hanging out in Jim Brewer's locker room. At that point, that's where I'm going to leave the story here for the AfterBuzz, because I'm not going to do the whole spiel here. There's a little more detail than I was planning on getting into, but that is definitely not where the story ends. So if you want to hear the rest of this story, you'll have to tune in to episode 6 of Rockstar 101. That's the podcast that I do with Shim. Episode 6, not going to be coming out until next week, so you're going to have to wait for that. But we will be telling the rest of this Metallica story there on Rockstar 101, which you can get on Spotify. You can get it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, whatever it may be. That's where I'm going to leave the story for right now. Part 2 will come up on Rockstar 101 with Shim, because I'm going to tell the whole story with him, because it was an amazing night. It was one of the best nights I've ever had. Like, it was a top 5. I mean, it's not as good as my wedding day, but this was still a pretty cool day, and it's all thanks to Jim Brewer, who was a super cool dude. We've got a few questions here in the YouTube chat. One from Greg. It's actually not a question. This is really just a comment about the people who were booing Double G when he was up on stage. And look, we kind of knew that was going to happen, because there are the people who are there who want to see Metallica, and it doesn't matter who's up on stage. If it's not Metallica, they're going to get booed. I mean, you could go out there, you could have Anthrax perform, you could have Megadeth perform, you could have Volbeat, or not Volbeat, Avenged Sevenfold was recently touring with Metallica. Doesn't matter who it is, they're going to get booed. It took a while for Jim Brewer to really kind of figure out what he was needing to do. I mean, we talked to some people who'd been on tour with Metallica, and for the first couple of weeks, it was pretty rough for Jim Brewer, because he was trying to figure out what's going to be his best thing to open for Metallica. What's going to help, keep the crowd into it, and it just, how is he going to play kind of, the intro act for Metallica? But ultimately, he's got it locked in now, because he did an absolutely brilliant job. He's out there. He goes up into the crowd. He asks where the oldest fan is. He asks where the youngest fan is. I think the youngest fan was like 18 months or something like that. Like, they just had, all earmuffed up and everything like that, which is pretty cool. The oldest guy was behind us to the left, because part 2 of the story, we actually weren't in our seats. Jim Brewer snuck us down to the floor. So that will be coming up on, the Rockstar 101 podcast, how all that happened. But it was back behind us was Diego, who was a 69-year-old man, and the crowd kept chanting 69, which was hilarious. Beto O'Rourke was there. We got to see Beto, which, by the way, I got to say this. If you're one of those pieces of shit that was yelling, "Fuck you, Beto," right behind him when his kids are there, go fuck yourself. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Ted Cruz and you're a dipshit out there yelling, "Fuck you, Ted Cruz." Go fuck yourself. Have some respect for somebody who's there with their kids. I don't care your political affiliation. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're conservative. Have some goddamn respect when somebody is there with their kids. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter who you align with. Be a better human being than that. That's a shitty way for El Paso to look. And if I had been there, I would have fucking said something, because that is a really, really shitty way for El Paso to look to other people. Like, grow the fuck up, you losers. Anyway, sorry to get a little serious there, but yeah, go fuck yourselves, you pieces of shit. Anyway, so there's the Metallica story, at least part of it. So we will have the remainder of the Metallica story coming up. Joe is asking, what was the best song of the night? Whew, man, that's a tough one. I really love how they come out to Hardwired. Like they just get things fucking going. It goes right into Hardwired with the fast drums and everything else like that. And Lars is out there. Like it's so fucking cool. Oh man, Fuel was great to see live, but Fuel's got a special place in my heart now too. Fuel and Master of Puppets do, because those were the two songs that my kid has really latched onto. Those are the ones that if we are going to listen to Metallica, those are the ones that she asks for. So Metallica and Fuel, definitely. And unfortunately, we did get a set list as well, which that will be in part 2 of the story that you'll have in Rockstar 101. And I was looking at how far down like Master of Puppets is coming, and they play that right before they leave to come back for the encore. And I was I don't think we can make it that far. Like I don't think that we're going to be able to do that. But Fuel was a really cool one. The setup that they had for Moth into Flames was great, because that's where they had drones. They had the tiny little drones come out with lights, and they just kind of come up out of the stage, and they do this kind of big swirly thing. Like that was really, really cool. I'm glad that we stuck around for that, because originally when I was looking at the set list, my wife and I agreed we'll see Fuel and we'll call it good. But ultimately we stuck around for a few more songs. We got to watch Moth into Flames, and we got to watch Sad But True, which Sad But True is great. But I honestly don't know if I could. I don't know if I could pick just one. I don't know if I could just say, this was my favorite song of all of them. The setup was super cool. It's always great with Metallica because they got that whole 360 stage thing going on. But man, the way they come out to Hardwired is great. I thought Fuel was amazing. Sad But True was great. For Whom the Bell Tolls was also the shit. God, yeah, it was a great show. Like all in all, if you didn't get to go, it stinks. I'm glad I got to go. And again, as I left work that day, I wasn't planning on going. Like I didn't have tickets. I didn't think I was going to get to see Metallica, and I really lucked out that day. Like I think I really, I don't know what I did to deserve it. Like I kept thinking to myself that as well, kind of throughout that day. The following day on Friday, I'm like, what did I do? And actually, even leaving home, or leaving to go home from the concert, like in the back of my brain, I'm like, what the hell did I do to deserve this? Like, this was amazing. And I couldn't think of what I could have possibly done. Like, what kind of karmic energy was being sent my way that, I try to be a relatively good human being, but that was above and beyond anything I could have ever possibly imagined. The only thing, and I mean the only thing, that could have even topped what went on is if somehow we met Metallica. Like if, somehow we bumped into Lars or James or Rob or Kirk or any of those other guys. It's just that would have topped it. But even then, just what happened was so flippin' cool. Like you can't complain. There's no way you can complain about what happened to me on that Thursday. And another cool thing that happened was where we were standing at when the drones came out to Moth into Flames. Kirk sitting there playing, and one of them was like hovering right in front of him, and I can't do it because my shoulder's starting to bug me, but he kind of whack, and he hits it with the guitar, and it bats it out into the audience, which was pretty damn funny. But anyway, so that's Metallica. Really quick, if there's anything that you guys have any questions, comments you want to put in the YouTube chat, by all means, fire away, because we're going to wrap up this edition of the AfterBuzz here very shortly. And then so fire away, get about 60 seconds or so. Part 2, and actually the whole Metallica story will be brought up on the next edition of Rockstar 101. Not the next one, because the next one should be released today, but we already recorded it. We recorded it prior to the whole Metallica Day festivities. So by all means, check that out. That will be available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you find it. I am going to be talking to Shim later today, which is we're going to record the next episode of Rockstar 101, actually. I'm going to ask him, make sure that we're getting that thing out there so that you guys can get the whole Metallica story soon. So episode 5 can go up, and then we'll have episode 6, which is where the Metallica story will be for Rockstar 101. And if you want to check it out, make sure you check out Chim's tour schedule. Unfortunately, he's not coming through West Texas here on this Crucified tour, but you can always check out what he's going on. It's shimmusic.com. If you guys have any questions, if there's anything that you guys, if you're checking out Rockstar 101, if there's any questions that you guys have for us, any comments that you guys want to make, you're more than welcome to always do that. You can hit me up directly. You guys got my info and stuff. Or you can hit up Shim on Twitter. It's Shimmoore, SHIMMOORE. That's his Twitter handle. You can fire it off over there and ask away at that point. On that note, we will wrap up this edition of the AfterBuzz. If you have not seen the one with Jim Brewer, go back, check it out. While you're here, make sure down below you are clicking the like button. You are clicking the notifications, like the little bell. You're clicking subscribe to for the KLAQ channel, and share this stuff. Put it out on social media. Like, let people know what's going on. If you enjoy watching it, maybe some other people will enjoy watching it as well. They can hear me yell at the people who are saying "F you, Beto" at the Don Haskins Center, because those people suck. But yeah, by all means, share it. Hit all the buttons. Just go through and click, 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 click. But on that note, have yourselves a glorious Wednesday. We'll see you guys next week here for the AfterBuzz, and tomorrow morning bright and early on Buzz Adams Morning Show, 5 a.m. Mountain Time. And on that note, we will check you guys later.